What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about all the different ways that I have gone about eliminating my lower back pain. Honestly, all my back pain. I didn't just have lower back pain. I had back pain up in the middle between my scapula. I've just always kind of suffered with some sort of stiff back pain, slip disc, just a myriad of issues with my back. And it took me a while to figure out how to handle that stuff on my own. So check it out. Now, as you can imagine, with all the things that I'm engaged in, Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, strength and conditioning, all the training that I do, it does enhance the chances of me hurting my back or just, putting my back in positions that inflame it. And so I've just consistently dealt with back pain for a number of years. For a while, I just kind of dealt with the pain, worked through it. I'd stretch here and there. And sometimes it would go away, sometimes it wouldn't, but it was what it was. Eventually, as I got older, I started going to like a chiropractor and getting like massages to try to mitigate the impact that it had on my day-to-day. And then I would just train regularly and just kind of deal with the pain in between my chiropractor appointments or my massages. And at one point, about a year and a half ago, the back pain just became immense and it just was not going away. The only time I didn't feel it is when I either had a back brace on, like a lifting belt, or I was just warmed up and doing my activities or grappling or sparring or training, and I'd warmed up enough to where I just didn't feel the pain. But man, I would feel the pain afterwards. That said, even at night, I couldn't sleep comfortably, so I was waking up all night because my back was either in pain or stiff or inflamed, so I couldn't get comfortable in my bed. I ended up spending quite a bit of money on a new mattress thinking that was gonna fix the problem. It only helped me sleep a little longer, but I still would wake up, and I just wasn't figuring out what I could do, or I wasn't doing the things I could do to make it better. On that path, I tried a whole bunch of different products to try to find out if any one thing would fix my problem so I could use that and not have to go to the chiropractor more. And just to eliminate my back pain so I could just be comfortable. That said, what I learned was it wasn't just gonna be any one product or any one thing. It was gonna be a collection or a myriad of things combined to give me comfort, or basically just eliminate my back pain so I could just live comfortably. So I have released a lot of videos showing all the different products, like highlighting these products individually as to how they went about helping me eliminate my back pain or relieving my back pain. But in every single video I release, someone always puts in the comments, can you release one video that shows all the things you do to eliminate your back pain? And it's a bit of a list. And I thought that if I showed a video of that, of all the things, that it would just be too long and no one would sit through it. Eventually, it kept coming up, so now I decided to do the video, and here is the video. Let me preface everything I'm about to say with a disclaimer, okay? I am not a doctor, I'm not a chiropractor, I'm not a physical therapist, I'm not a massage therapist. I'm just a trainer and an athlete and a martial artist who just trains a lot, and I've dealt with severe back pain, and I've managed to get it under control and to get comfortable, and has enhanced my training. And I'm just sharing that information. That is it. Take it as you want, but I am no expert. Let's start with sleeping. Okay, when I sleep, I got a body pillow, and I learned that sleeping on my side and putting the pillow between my legs was a good position for my spine. I started doing that, and I started to see that it would provide me instant relief. Another position was sleeping on my back and putting the body pillow under my knees, much like they do when they give you a massage, and then laying flat with my knees elevated like that seemed to help if my back was hurting when I went to bed. Lastly, just having a decent mattress makes a huge difference, and for like over a year now, I sleep through the night, no issue whatsoever. although I can comfortably sleep through the night, I do wake up with a stiff back or, you know, some tenderness or just back pain in general when I get out of bed. The first thing I do when I wake up with my stiff back after going to the bathroom, I splash some water on my face and I get one of my Chirp Wheels. I roll myself out on the Chirp Wheel first thing. It actually sits at the foot of my bed. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details because, again, that would make this video really long. I already did an in-depth video on this product. I have 3 of these. I have one here at my gym and I have one at home. Because not only do I use this in the morning, intermittently throughout the day, if my back feels like it's just not quite right, I roll on these things and I hear the popping and cracking and I feel great afterwards. So this is a huge factor in eliminating my back pain. This is called a Chirp Wheel. I'll put a link up in the video to the actual video that covers this entire product. So I use the Chirp Wheel, and then as I come into the gym, before and after my first workout of the day, I use bands. Now these are the pull-up bands. These are the thick pull-up bands. You have to use at least like the green or 60-pound band because you're going to be pulling your body weight on it. So I extend my arm out and it stretches my back around my lats and it just gives me the stretch that I need. Prior to doing that, I used to have to lay on the ground and have my wife pull on my feet and on my arms to kind of assist me in decompressing my spine. But I found that using an exercise band, I just tie it to my pull-up bars or one of my racks and then I just kind of lean into it. Using one of those really releases tension in my spine. So I do that before and after my workouts, especially if it's heavy on the upper body. From there, when I have like specific spots that really hurt or it feels, you know, that feeling where you can't quite bend over, you're kind of bending over funny and hinging at your hips, and you've got that pain. When I have that kind of pain, I use this. This is a peas in a pod. This one actually came with my crossover symmetry set, but this is awesome. Now, you could just use a regular lacrosse ball. I have those as well, but I have a pretty long torso and a big back, so this is better because I can slide the balls different widths, and it just covers a bigger surface area. So I lay on this peas in a pod. I put it, you know, outside of my spine on my back muscles. I find the tension. I lay into it, roll around a little bit, and I can feel the tension release. Another trick I learned was that a lot of tension in my lower back actually comes from my glutes and my hamstrings. So I use this on the upper part of my glutes to really release the tension in my glutes, and that has done wonders in releasing pain in my lower back. I've learned that by releasing the tension in my glutes, I can feel instant relief in my lower back. Now beyond the peas in the pod, next I use a roller. And this is how I release tension in my hamstrings and my glutes and my lower back. So sometimes by just rolling my hamstrings on this or my glutes and my lower back, I can feel relief. Now this is a Rolga, and I did a video on this as well. I'll put the link up here. This is my favorite foam roller out of all the other brands of foam rollers because of the grooves and indentations. And that'll be explained in the video if you watch the full breakdown video that I did on this specific roller. But this is the foam roller I use regularly. I have one here at my gym, and I have one at the foot of the bed next to my Chirp Wheel at home. So using a roller to relieve tension in my hamstrings, my glutes, and my back is huge. So as you can imagine, I do that quite a bit. From there are times that I don't have those tools or it's not as severe, so I'll just use a percussion massager, okay? And if you look on my channel, there is a plethora of videos on percussion massagers, and I'll just put a link to one of the main ones where I reviewed like I bought like $3,000 worth of massage guns to kind of review them all and tell you which one I thought was the best. So check that out. But I use a massage gun on my hips and my glutes and my lower back. Specifically, I've learned if I use them in the part where my glute meets my lower back, like there's a spot there that gets super tight from all the leg training and squats and everything. And when I release that, my lower back pain just dissipates. Okay, so that's all on my back. So these are all things that I do to my back or basically my posterior chain, right? So my back, my glutes, and my hamstring, all that stuff. So the back half of my body, these are all tools and things that I do on the back half. So I have learned over the last year that it is not always my back that's the problem. It could be my iliac psoas muscles. All the kicking and squats and grappling really cause serious tension in my psoas. And I learned that by using a psoas massager, that it can relieve pain in my back. Just yesterday, I was kind of rolling my back out and everything, and nothing was quite hitting the spot. And then I realized, okay, let me hit my psoas. And I did the psoas massager and got in there. And the minute you lay on those things, you can feel how tender it is. And you just have to lean into that pain and let that release. And then as it was releasing, I can feel all the tension in my back disappear. So when it's not in my back, it's in my psoas. With that, there's two products here. So this is the most famous. This is a Psoas, and this is like $80. Now, I did a video on this, and I'll put a link to that as well, but I wasn't a huge fan of this, mainly because of the price and what you get for the price. What I have found to be a better alternative is this. This is the Thrival Muscle Recovery Kit. And this is about the same price, but if you get all the accessories like I have, there's also these Roman arches. It's a little more expensive, but it's worth it because of the size of my body, the Psoas was too narrow. So with this, you get these meat grinder attachments, and you get kind of these pegs that go into your psoas just right. Now beyond that, if you go to their YouTube channel, they have so many helpful videos that have really taught me how to use all these attachments to release a lot, if not all, of my back pain. So this is like secondary as far as my go-to after like the peas in a pod. If I have serious back pain, this works on the front and the back. So I did a full video on that, and I'll put that link up here, but this is a huge asset when it comes to eliminating, relieving, or fully eliminating my back pain. So those are all the things I use to release tension in my back or back pain. I do all those things, and it's kind of like trying these different things to see what works, and then one thing will work one day and it won't work the next day, so I have to use the other thing. So I have all these things at my disposal, and I always figure it out. From there, it's about strengthening your back or your posterior chain. So I do a lot of exercises that do that, whether it be using kettlebells, and what I primarily do is make sure that my trunk or my core stays strong. So I have to put a lot of work into keeping my core strong, and that has really helped. But the game changer came when I discovered the reverse hyper. Now I have two videos on the reverse hyper. I was lucky enough to eventually get my hands on an actual reverse hyper Scout that I could fit in my gym, and it folds out. And that thing has really helped me strengthen my back in general, not just my lower back, but my whole posterior chain. And it's debatable. Some people believe those things don't do anything as far as spinal decompression or spinal traction, but it works for me, and that's all I can say. It has really helped. Now, if you can't get a reverse hyper, here's another video that I did where there's alternatives where you lean over your bench, or you can lean over a box and extend your legs upward and do it that way. But strengthening your back and your posterior chain and your core are crucial in really mitigating lower back pain, if not fully eliminating it and preventing it from happening again. In tandem with training your back or strengthening it through training, you also need to stretch. I throw that in there, but that's a given. Now, don't ever stretch tight muscles. You want to loosen them up, and you want to use all the other tools that I mentioned previously to loosen up those muscles. And then stretching properly and learning how to stretch will really help so that's another thing you want to add to your regimen. The last thing will be like immediate relief. If I'm stretching and things aren't quite working yet, or after I stretch things or not stretch, or I do any of these release tools, and I do all these different things and it's not immediate and things are still a little tender, or if it's pretty immediate and I can't stretch, or I'm in the middle of a class or something, training or something like that, then I go with a topical anti-inflammatory, which my favorite has now become CBD. So I was using black belt CBD, and I actually was a vendor for this, but they've kind of gone out of business. So CBD MD or whatever. But I used to just use the old school stuff, Bengay, some boxing liniment, stuff like that. But when I was put onto this CBD and putting that on my inflamed muscles, man, game changer. So if I need relief like that and I just can't use any of my tools, or whatever, this is a quick fix that I use. It is not something that you should just keep putting on and remove all the other things, because you're putting a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. You're not fixing the problem. This is just to give you relief in the moment. But you need to use the other things that I mentioned previously to really get rid of the problem. I have used all those tools, And I use them all regularly. And I'm telling you, through the pain that I was experiencing, I have eliminated my back pain. Now, it does come back because I'm still doing these things. I'm still doing striking. I'm still grappling. I'm still strength training. So yes, I still kind of put strain on those muscles. I try not to, right? I use the proper techniques. You do your best, but you still put yourself in compromised positions, or you just strain the muscles just by using them. But now, by using all these different tools, I have been able to mitigate the damage, really, or the pain that it might cause, and I eliminate that quickly up front so it doesn't become a deeper problem later. So I attempt to stay ahead of it, and most times I do, and if I don't, I'm able to heal it pretty fast with all the different things that I mentioned in the video. So guys, that is how I have eliminated my severe back pain and how I mitigate it when it comes back. So I hope this video was helpful. Again, guys, I'm not an expert in any of those areas. This is just my story. These are the things I did to fix this problem. And this is what you guys were asking for. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you can give us some support and some love by liking the video and subscribing to this channel so we can keep this thing going. As always, keep fighting for fit, no excuses. And we will see you in the next video.